Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Fresh. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Sri Radha Madhava ki jai, Sri Radha Giridhari ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivraj Gajaja Shudra Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Bhai Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivraj Gajaja Shudra Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. ISKCON founder Acharya, BBT founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Samveda Bhakti ki jai. Go Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Did Govardhan already go out?
He went to get his passport in Los Angeles.
Ah.
I think he brought his buddy Dujmani with him.
Dujmani cook breakfast today?
That's how it's cooked.
That's how it's cooking. The head of the kitchen. It will be a banquet for breakfast. Okay. So this morning, reading from the 7th canto, 5th chapter, this is text 17. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Daiteya Chandana Vane Jatoyam Kantaka Drumaha Yan Mula Parashor Vishnur Nalayitor Arbaka. Okay. Daiteya Chandana Vane Jato Yam Kantaka Drumaha Yan Mulon Mula Parashor Vishnur Nalayitor Bakaha. Daiteya Chandanan Vane Jato Yam Kantaka Drumaha Yan Mulon Mula Parashor Vishnu Nalayator Bakaha. Daiteya Chandana Vane Jato Yam Kantaka Drumaha Yan Mulon Mula Parashor Vishnu Nalayator Bakaha. Anyone like to chant? Yeah. Daiteya Chandana Vane Anyone else? Vishnu Nalayator Bhaka. Ladies? Daiteya Chandana Vane Jatoyam Kantaka Drumaha Yan Mulon Mula Parashor Vishnu Nalayator Bhaka. Anyone online?
Daiteya Chandana Vane
Daiteya Chandana Vane
Jato Yam Kantaka Druma
Jatoyam Kantaka Druma
Yan Mula Parashor
Yan Mulon Mula Parashor
Vishnu Nalayita Arbhaka.
Vishnu Nalayator Bhaka. Synonyms. Daiteya. Of the demoniac family. Chandanavane. In the sandalwood forest. Jataha. Born. Ayam. This. Kantaka Drumaha. Thorn tree. Yat. Of which. Mula. Of the roots. Unmula. In the cutting. Parasho. Who is like an axe. Vishnu. Of Lord Vishnu. Nalayataha. The handle. Arbakaha. Boy. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. This rascal Prahlāda has appeared like a thorn tree in a forest of sandalwood. To cut down sandalwood trees, an axe is needed, and the wood of the thorn tree is very suitable for the handle of such an axe. Lord Vishnu is the axe for cutting down the sandalwood forest of the family of demons, And this Prahlāda is the handle for that axe. Purport. Thorn trees generally grow in deserted places, not in sandalwood forests. But the seminal Brahmanas, Ṣaṇḍa and Amarka, compared the dynasty, as they say in England, the dynasty of the Daitya Hiranyakashipu to a sandalwood forest, and compared Prahlāda Mahārāja to a hard, strong thorn tree that could provide the handle of an axe. They compared Lord Vishnu to the axe itself. An axe alone cannot cut a thorn tree. It needs a handle, which may be made of the wood of a thorn tree. Thus, the thorn tree of demoniac civilization can be cut to pieces. Should that be the sandalwood? Okay. Yeah. Thus, the thorn tree of demoniac civilization can be cut to pieces by the axe of Vishnu Bhakti, devotional service to Lord Krishna. Some of the members of the demoniac civilization, like Prahlāda Mahārāja, may become the handle for the axe to assist Lord Vishnu, and thus the entire forest of demoniac civilization can be cut to pieces. So we're going to read 18 and speak on 18, but it's interesting to note that the demons are thinking their dynasty is very fragrant, very nice, like a sandalwood forest. Then at the end of the purport, Prabhupada turns it around and compares the demonic civilization to actually like thorn trees. And Vishnu and Vaishnav, together they work to destroy the demons. In Kali Yuga, it's not the demons themselves, but it's the demoniac mentality. And Prabhupada compared us, our notable births and families of demons, that maybe we could become just like that axe handle and help Lord Vishnu cut to pieces this demoniac civilization. So anyone who wants to sign up to be an axe handle, just come to Prasadam. So, and there's verses like this, Janaka Pandit, like a whole forest becomes very, very fragrant if there's one flowering tree and so on. And I think you mentioned the earlier verse about the cinder. If one tree catches on fire, it burns the whole forest, and just one. All you need is one. Or just like the example of the moon and the stars, all you need is one moon, and it illuminates all the whole heavens like that. So they're thinking that this Prahlāda, he's going to ruin everything because he's a devotee. Okay, so text 18, iti tam vividhor payar bishayam starjana dibihi praradham grahayam asha trivargasho papadanam. Translation, Ṣaṇḍa and Amarka, the teachers of Prahlāda Mahārāja, chastised and threatened their disciple in various ways and began teaching him about the paths of religion, economic development, and sense gratification. This is the way they educated him. Purport. In this verse, the words paradam grahayam asha are important. The words grahayam asha literally mean that they tried to induce Prahlāda Mahārāja to accept the paths of dharma, artha, and kama, religion, economic development, and sense gratification. People are generally preoccupied with these three concerns without interest in the path of liberation. Hiranyakashipu, the father of Prahlāda Mahārāja, was simply interested in gold and sense enjoyment. The word Hiranya means gold, and Kashipu refers to soft cushions and bedding on which people enjoy sense gratification. The word Prahlāda, however, refers to one who is always joyful in understanding Brahman. Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma, 1854. Prahlāda means Prasanatma, always joyful. Prahlāda was always joyful in worshiping the Lord, but in accordance with the instructions of Hiranyakashipu, the teachers were interested in teaching him about material things. Materialistic people think that the path of religion is meant for improving their material conditions. Big mistake. The materialist goes to a temple to worship many varieties of demigods just to receive some benediction to improve his material life. Sometimes we'll do pujas and they'll ask that you worship, they want everyone there. right? So just Krishna. No, we want everyone there because they want all the bases covered. Ganesh and Shiva and Lakshmi and Durga, and just in case, like that. That's Sri Mandir. It's like a supermarket. Everyone's there, like that. Name your benediction. Okay. Let's see. The materialist goes to a temple, worship many varieties of demigods just to receive some benediction to improve his material life. He goes to a sadhu or so-called swami to take advantage of an easy method for achieving material opulence. Panditji, can you bless me? Swamiji, can you bless me? Ashirvad, like that. In the name of religion, the so-called sadhus try to satisfy the senses of the materialist by showing them shortcuts to material opulence. Ding, here's some gold. As a result of this process of cheating, others are reluctant to accept the religious process, and instead they advise people in general to work for material advancement. This is going on all over the world, not only now, but since time immemorial. No one is interested in moksha, liberation. There are 4 principles: dharma, religion; artha, economic development; kama, sense gratification; and moksha, liberation. People accept religion to become materially opulent. And why should one be materially opulent? For sense gratification. Thus people refer to these 3 margas, 3 paths of materialistic life. No one is interested in liberation, and Bhagavad, Bhakti, devotional service to the Lord, is above even liberation. Therefore, the process of devotional service, Krishna consciousness, is extremely difficult to understand. This will be explained later by Prahlāda Mahārāja. The teachers Ṣaṇḍa and Amarka tried to induce Prahlāda Mahārāja to accept the materialistic way of life, but actually their attempt was a failure. And that comes out in a few verses from now. Om Agyanti Marandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshulun Minitam Ninatai Sri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Banchikapatarupaśca Kipasindhu Bevacha Patidanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So by your piety and Krishna consciousness and prayers, I'll try to say a few words. Okay. Dravida Prabhu, you're going to look up that one phrase for me? Dravida? Remember that, never the twain shall meet? Okay.
It's by Rudyard Kipling.
Okay.
Oh, east is east and west is...
Oh, that's right.
Begins the line with oh. Oh, east is east and west, and never the twain shall meet.
Okay. So there are some things that this will never reconcile. So that's what's being described here. And in this verse, when I read the purport, I thought about that, never the twain shall meet, but I forgot Mr. Kipling's beginning about east and west. So Prabhupada begins the purport by explaining that, Ṣaṇḍa and Amarka, they're very dutiful. They're trying to keep Prahlāda Mahārāja on curriculum. And the curriculum is Dharma, Artha, and Kama. That's it. There's no other classes. You can't sign up for something on moksha. We don't offer moksha, classes in moksha. We don't offer, never going to offer a class in Bhagavad Bhakti in this school. So just put that away and listen to our instructions about Dharma, Artha, and Kama. And Prabhupada makes the point that Dharma, a good part of the purport is Dharma, even the Dharma they have wrong. Because it's translated as religion, and 99% of the population, they think religion, you go to church, you pray, what do you pray for? Happiness in this world. That's the purpose of religion. But Prahlāda Mahārāja, it's described here, he's not at all interested. It's just not interested at all. Why? Prabhupada quotes the verse in Bhagavad Gita, this Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma Nasochati Nakangshati. That a symptom of a advanced spiritualist, prasanatma, he's fully joyful, he never laments or desires to have anything. like that. Sochati, na kankshati. Sochati means lament. He's not lamenting about anything in this world, and he's not desiring anything of this world. He has his other lamentation and his other desires, but that's something else. That's on the spiritual platform. But as far as this world, that's a Brahmabhuta platform. And that's why he's happy. Why are people unhappy? Okay, let's make it really at home. Why are you unhappy? Why am I unhappy? You ever sit and think, why am I so unhappy some of the time? Whenever we're unhappy, it's because of this, sochati kankshati. We're lamenting about something that we didn't get or lost, and we're anxious for something and wondering if we'll ever get it. And therefore we're sad, right? And unfortunately, you go to someone to help you with that, a psychiatrist, a psychologist, or a therapist, or a motivational speaker. I guess they still have those, right? He's retired there in Fiji, isn't he? He's like, got in a lot of trouble with his wife. That was what happened. He fell from grace. He fell from grace. Tony Robbins. Hare Krishna. But anyways, and they tell you, just get back out there. Just like in a boxing match, right? Boom, and you get punched in the face, and you fall down for the count, and you finally pick yourself up and fall back in your chair. And they, give you smelling salts and slap you around a little bit. Get back out there, round number 2. You can do it. You can win it, So that's what help in the material world is. Get back out there and keep trying. So, but the transcendentalist, he's happy because he's not interested in getting back out there. He's done. He's done. He's out of the ring. He's out of the ring. And it says here that he's equally disposed toward every living entity. He's equally disposed. Now, I mentioned this earlier, and it comes up in the classes at the Hiranyakashipu Kula, that as a politician, you have to decide who's your friend and who's your enemy. You have to. There's no way around that. You have to. But for a transcendentalist, he doesn't think like that. He's not a fool, but he sees everyone as eternal part and parcel of Krishna. Everyone is potentially my friend, on the spiritual platform. And then the end of the verse is very important. In that state he attains pure devotional service unto me. Mad bhaktim labhate param. So this is a description of Prahlāda Mahārāja. So he doesn't belong in this school at all. He doesn't belong. But, just to keep the peace, he's just sitting there. It's kind of like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was speaking to him for 7 days on the Vedanta Sutra. Just keeping his mouth quiet and being respectful. Probably chanting, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Just under his breath, just like another day of the karma, dharma, artha, kama, moksha stuff. And of course, what's going to happen, whoever most fortunate devotee to give class that day, is the Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Vishnu verse is going to come up. Is that the longest purport in Prabhupada's Bhagavatam? Yeah. So it's probably going for a few days. Devotees will speak on that. So, Prabhupada says at the end of the purport, they're not successful. But the analysis is that people in general are preoccupied by these 3 things, bodily concept of life, and unfortunately they think of religion in terms of that. And when they come to the temple, whether it's a demigod temple, or especially demigod temples, because they know none of the demigods are promising moksha or liberation or anything beyond this material world. They got a list there of, what kind of benedictions you can get. In fact, it's even listed in the 2nd canto of the Bhagavatam. I could open that up. But you go to Lord Indra for this, you go to Durga for that, you go to Uma for the, you want a nice husband, you go to all the different demigods are there, and they're empowered to give different blessings, but it's all in reference to happiness in this material world. And even people, you could say a little more advanced, they come to Krishna, and they know Krishna is the source of all benedictions and blessings, and they pray to Krishna for material benedictions. But that's not condemned. In the Bhagavatam it says, what is that? Akama moksha kama sarvakama, mokshakama dharadi, one who's very, very intelligent. Doesn't matter you have material desires, you have no material desires, you only want to serve Krishna, whatever, wherever you're at, approach Krishna. And Krishna will take care of everything. He'll purify the heart. And even if you go to the demigods, mayayava vihitanitan, they can't give you anything. 1 ruple, they can't give you anything unless Krishna says, give it to them. Right? Okay, nothing. You can't get anything from the demigods unless Krishna heart says, okay, give it to them. So Krishna is making all these decisions. So you have the demigods, and that's why this relationship is, you could say, condemned or criticized, because the demigods, they're giving material benedictions. They're keeping us in the material world. It's like a weight.
Is there any story of Krishna actually interfering with the demigods giving a benediction?
You'll see at the end of this story, right? Here's a few words for Lord Brahma. Yes.
That's post his benediction, right? For Hiranyakashipu. Does he ever I
don't know of a story of Krishna interfering. I do know a story of Krishna to let it play out, to teach a lesson, and then letting everyone know. Just even the story of Brikasura and so on, right? And then he, as a little Brahmin boy, goes, oh, he saves the day. So there's different situations where he saves the day.
Yeah.
But he lets it play out for the drama.
Yeah.
If every time the demigod gave Krishna just shows us, stop. Where would the drama in life be? So you got to have all this drama. And then Krishna ultimately comes around and gives a lesson. This should not have been done. Or I don't, like this. So. Like that. So then Prabhupada mentions there are sadhus, saintly persons, yogis, powerful yogis, and so on. People approach them in hopes of getting different material benedictions, and sometimes that's the relationship. Maybe the yogi can create some gold. Like that. Now you'd have to manifest like a Visa card or something, I guess. Like that. Visa, right? Amex, you ask them what kind of credit card you want. Hopefully it works. Like that. And it's interesting too, because that manifestation of things is called Prapti Siddhi. They don't create it, they get it from somewhere else. So, you pull it out, and, hey, that's my credit card you just gave me. I've been missing it they get it from somewhere else and then they manifest it. So they don't create it, they have to get it from somewhere. Probably gives an example about that yogi coming. The pomegranate from Kashmir or Afghanistan or something, a whole branch just right there on the table. But that's what he, can get it and just bring it right there. So, but the point is, they want material benedictions. They want blessings. Everyone's consciousness is like that. And therefore, people a little intelligent, they see, what's the point? Why go to the church and pray and want to just work hard? If the goal of this is just to have some money to enjoy sense gratification, well, just go get a good job. You get the same thing. You don't need to go to the temple to pray or the church. You just get a good job, and everything will be just fine, because that's what everyone wants anyways. Maybe there's a God, maybe there isn't, but if you get a good job, you'll get all the things that these people are praying for. So, therefore, there's disinterest in religion. And Prabhupada says it's not something new. It's been going on since time immemorial. It's just the consciousness, material consciousness. And it's described here. Oh boy, what a time. Anyway, there's one verse in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna refers to this because the question come up, this is all authorized. It's the Karma Kanda section of the Vedas. That if you want something, be religious, pray to the demigods. Krishna set up this whole system. So why in the world did Krishna do that? In fact, if there's an analysis of all the Vedic literature, one Swami was giving a lecture, devotee's giving a lecture on this, and I forget the numbers, but something like 75–80% of all the Vedas are about karma kanda. You got the Rig Veda, the Indra, and the Sam Veda, and then you've got a small, like maybe another 10% or something on Gyan, and you only have a little tiny bit of the Vedic literatures talk about pure devotional service. Now, why is that? Why is that? It's because it's matching the demographic of people in this world. Most people, supply and demand. But the principle is that by engaging in this gradually, you start seeing that there's an arrangement. And who's made that arrangement? In other words, sooner or later, it clicks in. But it's there. Most people, when you preach pure devotional service, it doesn't make any sense at all. Because we're in the body. Devotional service doesn't make any sense if one's absorbed in the bodily concept of life. Never the twain shall meet. Right? They just won't meet. You cannot. In fact, that is one of the verses here. Yeah, 44. Bhogaishvaya prasaktanam taya parittachetasam vyabhisatmaka bhuti samadao navadiyate. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence and are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. And actually, the verses I was going to quote, the previous two verses, Krishna talks about this karma kanda section in the Vedas. Men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommend various fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly planets, result in good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life, they say there is nothing more than this. So that's their understanding of the Vedas. Prabhupada brings it out, elaborates in the purport. They're saying the Vedas are all about, going to heaven and enjoying in this world. That's what the purpose of the Vedas is. But it's not. It's not. And but because of Bhogaishvarya prasaktanam, that attachment to enjoying an opulence, taya prajeta chesasam, our intelligence, our conscience is completely bewildered. Bewildered. If someone's bewildered, what does that mean? You ever been bewildered by something? I can't figure this out. You ever been bewildered like, I'm bewildered? Double bewilderment. A double dose of bewilderment. You don't know that you don't know. So you just can't, don't know. You're bewildered. I don't know. So they can't even help themselves. It's one thing if you forgot something for a minute or this, but when you're completely bewildered, it means you don't know. It's like people sometimes get dementia, loss, and they walk into a room and they go, why am I here? Why am I here? Or sometimes, who am I? Or who are you? It goes. Your memory is lost. You're bewildered. Memory's lost. You have no idea what's going on. Very sad. So that's our condition. And the point being is that Prahlāda Mahārāja was so happy because he didn't want anything of this world. He only wanted service. So that's the devotee. That's the aspiration of the devotees to come to that platform of pure devotional service. Jnana karma nabritam anukulina krishnanu. That means favorable. Devotional service is favorable and it's devoid of any desire for anything in this world. Karma, jnana, anything. Just what does a devotee want? Just like the song by Govinda Das about the mind, right? That you don't want this, you don't want that. What does that has to begin? Bhajahure mana Srinanda Nandana. So he says, my youth, my family, all these are useless things, and so on and so on. And Prabhupada says when he's given the purport, so my dear mind, what do you want? What do you want? And he said, I just want to engage in the process of devotional service. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Padasevanam. That's all I want. So if we can come to that platform, we'll be very, very happy. Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakalaya Santa. Those who are absorbed in Bhukti, Mukti, and Siddhi, enjoying this material world, liberation, mystic yoga, asanta, they're never happy. They're never happy. But the Krishna Bhakta Nishkam Atayava Santa. But the devotee is very, very happy. Very, very happy. But it's not an easy thing to understand, and it's even more difficult to achieve. But it is possible by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the devotees. And there's a verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that says, if one who remembers the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya, even the most difficult thing becomes easy. And one who forgets the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya, the easiest thing becomes very difficult. So it's a matter of just remembering the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya and serving the devotees, that which is impossible. Maya, what is that? Daivesha gunamai mama maya duratyaya. It's impossible to get out of the material world. After breakfast, just go home. Because it's impossible to get out of this material world. Krishna says that right in the Bhagavad Gita. But, yes, but one who takes shelter of me, tarantite, can easily cross beyond this modes of material nature. It's impossible, but it's very possible. Especially in Kali Yuga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has made it very, very easy. If we just take shelter of the holy names, serving the Vaishnavas, and pushing on the Sankirtan movement like that. So we've run out of time here. But anyways, hold on to your asanas, because it gets very exciting the next few verses when Prahlāda Mahārāja goes home and his papa wants to find out what he's learned in school. So, yes.
Okay, just a couple of comments, all related to the importance of editing for a deep understanding. You referred to this verse, akama sarvakama va. So in the purport there, I'll skip I think to the second paragraph, and it begins with the word akama. And akama is a noun, so it should be an akama, a person who's free of all desire. It's a noun. You see in the verse. Anakama is one who has no material desire, and Prabhupada goes on with that. What does desirelessness mean? He explains, desireless means, therefore, not to be inert like the stone, but to be conscious of one's actual position, and thus desire satisfaction only from the Supreme Lord. And no one, that didn't ring a bell for anyone all these years. But I happened to be investigating the next sentence, which has this wonderful phrase from Jiva Goswami encompassing the essence of Bhakti. And I said, wait a minute. Desire satisfaction only from the Supreme Lord. Is that really what Prabhupada types? And one should know that the second canto, Prabhupada typed out himself, the whole thing in India, and brought the manuscript with him. So it's different from, he didn't dictate it. So what Prabhupada had was, to be conscious of one's actual position and thus desire only the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. Not desires one's satisfaction only from the Supreme Lord. Kind of a difference, huh?
Yes.
So that's one thing. And then the other one is in the verse that you just mentioned. So indeed, it is impossible to get out there. But what we have in the translation, Prabhupada said in the word by words, very, very difficult. And in the purport, he says more or less, it's impossible. But in the translation, it just came out, it's difficult. It's difficult to cross. Doratjaya. But obviously, it's at least very difficult, extremely difficult, as you intuitively said, impossible. Certainly on our own, you can't cross over. So I'm campaigning to put at least the word "very" in there in the translation. Very difficult. So anyway, when you read the verse, the meaning is very difficult, extremely difficult, impossible. But it doesn't say that now, so we're going to try to get that fixed. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Any other questions or comments? Anything from online? Silence is golden.
In relation to this Anya Bilashita Shunyam verse, it describes the different things that could cover bhakti. Now, it seems that I don't want to say it could change over time, the different things that cover bhakti, but I guess you could say my question is, what are some, you could say, modern things that could cover bhakti in relation to that verse? because it says, okay, yeah, jnana, karma, that could cover. Okay, but how do we relate that today? Because how it was written, you know, at that particular time, there was a certain understanding of jnana, karma. I mean, it says adi, etc. But how do we how does it, we could say, more relate? Or what are some examples, like modern day examples?
Okay. Well, one thing is that the philosophy is not time-bound, and the understanding of human nature or the conditioning of the spirit soul is not time-bound. So karma means just the desire to act in this material world and to be an enjoyer in this world. Now, how that's done, the details change, but the core of it's the same. People enjoy in this world by eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Now, that may take different forms, but that's what they're doing. There's nothing new under the sun. Or how we dress, what kind of cars we have. Just like 500 years ago, someone made like, I really want to get a really good-looking horse to ride, you know? And now it's, I want a Ferrari or something. But, you know, it's like, it's your mode of transportation. You know, something like that. So it's the same thing, but details change. But what's going on in the core of the heart's the exact same thing. And Gyan, we don't have our big, philosophers, arguing based on the Vedas and things like that. But it's mental speculation. People are, making up all kinds of things besides devotional service. They're so-called philosophies, they're gyan, they're trying to understand something beyond this world, but it's all speculation. You can, and it's quite prominent in this age too because of the publishing industry and the media. Everyone's a pundit. Everyone's got their following. You mentioned about, what's his name? Anthony Robbins? Tony Robbins, Tony, same thing. Friends call him Tony. But, they're the gurus. Everyone's got their idea about how to be happy. And, I heard something very sad, very, very sad. I was watching this one thing, and, it was Deepak Chopra, And I told the boys I work with many years ago at a metaphysical greeting card company, and he published his very nice. Some devotees work there also. I got devotees working there. Nice gentleman, and his partner in life, Natalie, she wrote many vegetarian cookbooks. So we were publishing vegetarian cookbooks. They became quite popular. But I worked with Manorath. Remember I brought up the name Manorath? There was a disciple of Chinmoy. His name is Manorath, and I was always wondering why. It means chariot of the mind. But actually, you had mentioned this has some other meanings. So, but where am I going with this? I was going to go in a very good direction about this whole thing, Manorath. Okay. Anyways, his wife, Manorath's wife, was a waiter in La Jolla. And I don't know if Deepak Chopra still has a place there in La Jolla. Many, many years ago, he did. In fact, a devotee, she ran his store there. And he had his treatments for Ayurveda and so on and so on. But he said he would come in and order bacon, ham and eggs and a beer, It's like, and so they still call him Six-Pack Chopra, But anyways, God bless him. But anyways, this is if you think that's amazing, this is what was very amazing. He was interviewed as an authority on the Vedas and the Vedic philosophy. And there was another yogi also. And both of them were saying that the way you overcome the fear of death and that whole trauma is to understand that you, all the atoms in your body and so on, will dissolve and then become into nature and then become something else. So you'll live on as a tree or as a rock, or as a dog, or something else. Like just a transformation of energy. He said, that's the teaching of the Vedas. I almost threw a brick at my TV. I said, how could he say that? How could he say that? And he's interviewed as in this yogi, and they're saying that. That's what the teachings of the Vedas are. You know, in Mayavad, you become one. Nothing about the soul going to karma, next body, going to heaven or spiritual world, or even in personal realization. It was like all the atoms that make up you merge back into nature and then come out again, and you just go on forever. That's their idea of eternity. All the energy that makes up that body will be, maybe you'll be a bench in the temple for some years, and that falls apart. Then you become a seagull, and isn't that wonderful? Doesn't that remove all the fear and anxiety about death and sin and all that kind of stuff? That's what he was saying. So the point being, Gyan, all this speculation, so one has to give all that up. All these crazy ideas. There's only, our philosophy is we're right and you're wrong. Prabhupada said, the highest understanding of reality, let's cushion it this way, the highest understanding of reality is that we're eternal servants of Krishna. Jivera sopoi Krishna niradas. That's yeah, right there in the Bhagavad Gita. And to think something else and all this speculation, it won't help. It won't help at all. So I mean, you can give a whole seminar on these two topics and how it goes off. But,
people write books on it and stuff.
But people say, it's all changed. It's different. That was 500 years ago when Rupa Goswami wrote that verse, and nothing's changed. Nothing has changed at all.
Yep.
So, except for maybe it's more difficult now. The amount of mental speculation, the amount of stimulation for non-Krishna consciousness is more intense than ever, and it's going to get more intense. Hold on. Hold on to your beads, Prabhus. Okay, and social media. You're right. Like that. So as Charles Dickens said, it's the best of times and it's the worst of times. The beginning of two cities, right? Kali Yuga, it's the worst of times, but it's also the best of times because you have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy.
Just, thank you very much.
Now, if you meet Deepak Chokra, don't tell him you heard that from me. Okay,
I won't tell him.
It's been an us, you offer respects and.
It's like Chopra. That's funny. I was asking my spiritual master about this particular Anyabilashita Shunyam verse, and then I was with him, and then he was playing a lecture of Srila Prabhupada, and he said, "Oh, you'll find this interesting." And then while we were there listening to the lecture, Prabhupada gave an example, which I haven't heard much, but Prabhupada gave the example of this mental speculation. He gave the example of Yudhishthira, interesting enough. How Yudhishthira Maharaj, Krishna gave him the instruction, what was it?
Lie.
You lie. And then he hesitated. And then Prabhupada said, this is speculation. It's a mental, he should have not hesitated. He should have done it immediately. So it's an interesting example how you could say this hesitation to follow Krishna's instruction, falls within this category. Or also I was thinking that generally there's an idea of impersonal liberation. Now, what is behind that? It means people want to be free from suffering. That's the main reason they have that desire. But how that manifests in Krishna consciousness is how people, they want to, you could say, hide from the difficulties in Krishna service, for example. They just want to kind of hide and be free from suffering in their own kind of. So anyways, but just a little addition, that's all.
Well, you're making a very good point, because you're going to analyze the karma and gyan in relationship to our devotional life. How those subtly influence our devotional decisions and so on. Just like if you want to enjoy devotional service, it's enjoyable, but that shouldn't be the motivation. It should always be serving Krishna, what makes Krishna happy, you know. What makes Krishna happy, that's the criteria for everything. So, and mental speculation, start thinking, oh, I think I'm going to do this and that. And we had a few cooks here a few years ago. They really liked to speculate. And some really wild stuff was coming out of that kitchen. And I said, just take Jamuna's cookbook and just follow a recipe, you know. Prabhupada's taught us how to worship Krishna, you know, first class. Everything should be first class. And, you know, and they're just like, whoa. I wonder what he's arguing with Maharaj about why he should be able to cook mushrooms for the deities. You know? It's like, why go there? I mean, what's wrong with, you know, curd square sabjis and ras malai and all these wonderful things Prabhupada taught us? Why do you have to, you know, what? You know, so that's speculation. You have to be careful not to speculate. Oh, I think I'll do this, I'll do that. And there's one story, I know it's Nayana Bharam, Bhadri Maharaj says, in the early days, he was offering, you know what sparklers are? You light them, he was offering that on the altar. I thought it'd be nice to offer to Krishna. I was like, don't do that. You know, Prabhupada had to stop a lot of speculation in the beginning of the movement of what devotees thought was good or bad. It's like, don't do that. You know, no, that's not good. It was in Africa or South Africa. Prabhupada came in the temple room and the deities were like on opposite sides of the altar, present to put them back together. You know, things like that. So, you know, little tiny puris and things. So we have to hear carefully from authorities what pleases Krishna and Prabhupada and what doesn't. Like that's speculation, and we can get in a lot of trouble. Like that, we have to get in trouble like that. So we can end here. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.